Hi, TCS second graders. Mrs. Hausman will be reading a nonfiction book about bees to you and helping you learn about nonfiction text features. Before I read the book to you, I'm going to use a KWL chart. A KWL chart looks like this. The first section is a section for writing about what you know about the topic. The second section, or in the middle, is what you wonder about the topic. You write 2 questions that you have about the topic you're going to read about today. Then I hope that we'll be able to find the answers to the questions as we read the book. The third section is what you learn about the topic. I will fill this part out after I'm done reading the whole book. So here's my KWL chart that I got ready. I wrote my name, I wrote the topic of bees, and I put the date on it. And here's 2 things that I know about bees. I know that bees live in hives, and I also know that bees make honey. The second section is what I want to learn. Here are some questions I hope that will get answered as I'm reading today. How do bees make honey? And how long do bees live? Remember, the third section, what I learned, is what I'm going to fill out after I'm all done reading the whole book. Today, I will read part of the book, and then we will discuss the text features of table of contents, headings, bold words, and glossary. In the next lesson, then we'll finish reading the book and learn more about text features and finish our KWL chart. Enjoy the book as I read. Listen for new information about bees. From Egg to Bee. I have permission to read this book from Quarto Publishing Incorporated. What is a bee? A bee is a type of insect. There are about 5,700 types of bees, and they live all over the world. Bees are important. They help plants to grow seeds and fruit. Some bees are endangered and need our help to protect them. Most bees have yellow and black stripes. This big furry bee is a bumblebee. Most sweat bees have dark or colorful bodies. Honeybees visit flowers to collect their sweet nectar and pollen. They use nectar to make honey. The story of a honeybee. A honeybee's home is called a hive. Lots of honeybees live in a hive. There is one queen bee in a hive. She lays eggs. Each egg will grow into a larva. A larva changes into an adult bee. A bee's egg is tiny. It is about 1/125th of an inch, or 1 millimeter. The eggs hatch and a larvae comes out. When a larvae changes into an adult, it is called a pupa. An adult bee looks very different than a larva. The story of how an egg grows into an adult bee is called a life cycle. In the hive. A group of honeybees is called a colony, and each colony lives in one hive. There are 3 types of honeybees in a colony: one queen, worker bees, and drones. A queen bee lays all of the eggs. Worker bees are all female. They have lots of important jobs to do. Worker bees make and clean the hive. They look after the eggs, and they feed the larvae. They also collect food for the colony. Drones are male bees. Their job is to mate with the queen bee. There is honeycomb inside the hive. It is made of wax and has many holes called cells. Each cell will be filled with either honey or an egg. Laying the eggs. Spring is a busy time for honeybees. The workers get the hive ready by building lots of wax cells. The queen mates with drones and they fertilize her eggs. A queen can lay hundreds of eggs every day. She puts each one in a cell. Most cells have just one egg inside them. After just 3 days, the eggs are ready to hatch. Each cell now holds a tiny white larva. The queen makes a special glue. She sticks the eggs inside its cell. Each wax cell is a hexagon shape and it has 6 sides. Busy bees. The baby bees are growing in their cells. Worker bees have to find food for them. A worker bee has pollen baskets on her legs. When the bee visits a flower, the baskets fill up with pollen. They fly out of the hive and look for flowers. Honeybees like colorful flowers that smell nice. Worker bees collect pollen and nectar from the flowers, and then they fly back to the hive. In the hive, worker bees are busy cleaning and feeding the larvae. Worker bees use the nectar to make honey in the honeycomb. Bees have a strong tongue. They use it to suck nectar from flowers. Now we will discuss text features. The first text feature that we want to talk about is the contents. It is also referred to as the table of contents. The contents will tell you what we are going to read about and what page it is on. The table of contents is always found at the beginning of the book. The second feature that we're going to talk about are called headings. They're like chapter titles in the book. The headings are going to be found at the top of each page. They will tell you what you are going to read about. The headings come right from the table of contents. Example, this says, what is a bee? If I turn back to the table of contents, you can see that it says, what is a bee? Page 4. And there is what is a bee, and this is page 4, and this is page 5. The next thing we're going to talk about are bold words. Bold words are the important words the author wants you to remember. They are the dark black words on each page. These words can also be found in the glossary with their meaning. So on this page, we have a couple of bold words. We have the word insect, and we have the word endangered. On this page, we have the word nectar and pollen. Now we'll talk about the glossary. The glossary is found at the back of the book. It says glossary at the top. We talked about it. It includes all the bold words and their definitions. We talked about the word endangered. Endangered means under threat of dying out. Bees are endangered by a number of things, including weed killers and bug killers sprayed on farm crops. We had the word insect, a small animal with 6 legs. Let's review the text features we talked about today. We talked about table of contents, also known as the contents. Gives you the headings of each of the chapters you're going to read about and what page they're found on. There's the heading, what is a bee? Here's the heading, the story of the honeybee. We talked about bold words. Bold words are the important words the author wants you to know, and those words are included in the glossary. Bold words on the page will be in bold print, dark black print like insect and endangered. Here's a page that we didn't talk about the bold words. See if you can see the bold words. I see the word hive, queen bee, larva. The fourth feature we talked about today is the glossary. The glossary is found at the back of the book. It says glossary, and it includes all of the bold words that the author has included in the story with their definitions. Join me next time when we will finish reading the book From Egg to Bee and learn some more text features and finish our KWL chart. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed reading.